Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over 5 reasons why you're bad at console Fortnite. This video is for the players who feel like they aren't as good as they should be, or just feel like they aren't improving at a fast enough rate. Now, I don't want anyone to feel insulted by the video, because that's definitely not my intention. Not being great at Fortnite really isn't that big of a deal at the end of the day. The purpose of this is just to give some constructive criticism. I know a lot of players that put a good amount of time into the game, but they aren't as good as they should be because they do certain things that hold them back as a player. So hopefully you guys understand that, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first reason why you may not be as good as you should be at Fortnite is because you don't warm up before each session. It doesn't matter if it's sports, video games, or any other kind of competitive activity that requires mechanical skill, you absolutely need to warm up to be successful. And I totally understand the main argument that some people are probably thinking in their head right now, oh, well, I know pros warm up and everything, but I'm just average, so I don't need to. Or I'm just getting on for 3 to 4 games, so it isn't worth my time to warm up. Trust me, I totally understand where that argument's coming from, and it does make sense to some degree, but I also strongly disagree with it as a whole. Sure, you absolutely don't need to warm up as much as any pro Fortnite player does. I don't think people really understand this because a lot of times they warm up off stream, but I've talked to certain pro level players that will literally warm up for 2 to 3 hours straight before any kind of competitive event. Heck, when you look at sports like basketball or baseball, those players are usually at shoot around or batting practice like 2 to 3 hours before the game starts as well. So if all the pros value warming up that much, hopefully that helps you understand how important it really is. Now luckily, since most of you watching this aren't really trying to go pro or play in any kind of pro level competitive events, you don't need to do any kind of super long warm-up session. Even just doing 5 to 6 minutes of aim training and then 2 to 3 minutes of free building and editing should be enough to at least get your fingers warm and hopefully get your mechanics in general to an acceptable level for the games you're about to play. And as I mentioned in the video I made a few days ago where I shared a quick aim training routine, there's also very important long-term value to warming up as well. If you practice your aim, building, or editing even for a few minutes each day, it may not be the quickest thing in the world, but you will eventually see a noticeable improvement. And I'm someone that can personally attest to all this because I used to not really warm up at all before I played. And what I noticed was that it would take about 3 to 4 games before I felt like I was playing as well as I was truly capable of. So if you're someone that never warms up and you mostly play Fortnite in bursts of 4 to 5 games at a time, you may not be displaying your true skill level until the very end of the session you play. And because of that, you might be confusing you not being warmed up with you just being bad at the game in general. So really important thing to consider there if you're someone who doesn't warm up before playing. The next reason why you may feel like you're bad at Fortnite is because you don't play the game consistently enough. There's a really common saying in sports that I think perfectly describes what I'm saying here. If you aren't getting better, then you're getting worse. What a lot of people mistakenly assume is that if they don't play Fortnite for a couple days or even 1 to 2 weeks, their skill level is just gonna basically stay the same. Nobody thinks that they're gonna get better by not playing the game, but it's easy to think, man, I've been playing Fortnite for 2+ years now, so taking a 2 to 3 day break isn't gonna change anything. And maybe for some people that's the case, but it's rare to say the least. I've said it before, but Fortnite is hands down one of the most mechanically demanding video games of all time. And when it comes to mechanical skill especially, it really does start to fade away very quickly if you aren't constantly using those mechanics in game. And if you want any proof of that, just think of all the Fortnite pros that became quote-unquote washed. I think that term is kinda harsh because they're still better than like 99.99% of players, but you'll see that all the time with certain pros. They'll be considered the best in the world for a few months, but then at some point they start to lose that desire to play the game, maybe they take a couple of days off a few times, and it eventually results in other players overtaking them. It's the same thing on a smaller scale for more regular players like you and I. If you take long breaks from playing the game, your skill level will start to diminish much quicker than you'd ever expect. I get it, you shouldn't force yourself to play a game that you're not enjoying, and sometimes those breaks are unavoidable, but even just playing for like 20 to 30 minutes a day will be major when it comes to preventing your mechanical skill specifically from declining. The next reason why your skill in Fortnite isn't as good as you want it to be is because you lose focus while playing. This is something that happens to me all the time when I play really long sessions. For the first hour or so, I'm feeling great, I'm hopefully having fun, hopefully playing well, and I'm totally focused on the game itself. But then, usually around roughly that 90-minute to 2-hour mark, the game starts feeling a little more tedious, a little more boring, and it results in me sort of going through the motions while playing instead of giving it my all. Now, getting bored when playing a game for multiple hours straight is nothing super unusual, but when you hit that point of boredom, you're no longer going to play anywhere near your peak skill level. You're going to make stupid plays just to try to entertain yourself, you're going to stop paying attention to the little things that make you successful as a player, it's going to go downhill pretty quickly. Now, if you feel like what I just said describes how you feel about Fortnite after a certain amount of time, here's my recommendation. Instead of playing the game in one long session per day, which is what I used to do, instead break it up into maybe 2 or 3 smaller sessions scattered throughout the day. Instead of playing 2 hours straight and losing focus halfway in, instead play 2 1-hour sessions or maybe 3 45-minute sessions whenever you have a little free time. Making that change has helped me enjoy the game a lot more in general, and also it's helped me stay 100% focused at all times while I'm playing. The next reason why you may be bad at Fortnite is because you don't have a defined playstyle. It's so important to know the things that you're good at in Fortnite and to try to take advantage of them as much as possible. I can't tell you how many times I've seen someone who's bad at box fighting try to turn every fight into a box fight just because Clicks does it. Or even though they hate the charged shotgun, for example, they'll still use it whenever possible because that's what most pros do. As good of an idea as it may be to learn from top level players and take little bits and pieces from their game, just straight up trying to copy their entire playstyle is almost never gonna work for you. Those players are so smart and so mechanically talented that plays which they can execute with their eyes closed will be a massive struggle for average players. One of the best things about Fortnite is that you can be very successful with pretty much any possible playstyle. I know that playing super aggressive and hitting people with massive shotgun shots is a flashy and attractive way to play, but I know plenty of really successful players that basically do the opposite. They use their ARs and snipers to get a ton of chip damage, and only then do they push forward to clean up the kill. It's so important that you understand your strengths as a player and try to revolve your game and the fights you get into around those strengths. There's a reason why LeBron or Giannis don't shoot 10 threes a game and instead score about 70% of their points in the paint. The final reason why you might be bad at Fortnite is because you don't expand beyond playing regular public matches. If I had to guess, I'd say the majority of the Fortnite population really only plays regular solos, duos, and squad matches, maybe with the occasional LTM thrown in as well. Now, I guess if your only goal is to have fun, then that's obviously fine, and of course playing those modes is definitely better than playing nothing, but it's also so important for your growth as a player to go beyond just regular pubs. I actually made an entire video talking about how I'd personally rate every possible practice method when it comes to improving as a player, and just playing regular games was literally the worst option. It gives you way less mechanical training than game modes like box fights or zone wars in creative, and unlike arena mode, public matches just have so many gimmicky items that make it more about fun than practice and improvement. Now, unlike warming up, I don't think you have to play non-public matches every single day, but it is something that you want to do at least once or twice a week. And I think what ends up happening happening to a lot of people is that they try out these alternate modes and they actually end up liking them more than public matches. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down the comment section below. If you're someone that thinks you aren't as good at Fortnite as you should be, what do you believe is the #1 reason for that? Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.